Morning, everyone. I hope people have joined. We appreciate your joining well in time, well before the time rather. On behalf of Sarojini Naidu Center for Women Studies, Jamia Millia Islamia, I welcome you all. And today, the third day discussion forum of Sarojini Naidu Center for Women Studies is organizing this film discussion on the well-acclaimed Lapataa Ladies by Aamir Khan Productions. Friends, today we gather to explore the remarkable piece of contemporary Indian cinema, Lapataa Ladies, Missing Women, a film that masterfully weaves humor with profound social commentary on gender relations in rural India. Directed by Kiran Rao, this critically acclaimed film, which emerged as both a box office success and a catalyst for important social discourse, offers us a unique lens to examine the intersections of gender, power, and agency in contemporary Indian society. The 2023 comedy drama film is based on the story of Two Brides by Biplab Goswami, which was discovered by co-producer Aamir Khan at a script writing competition. The film is also set to draw inspiration from Anant Mahadevan's 1999 film Ghungat Ke Pat Khol, which also features a comedy of errors, narratives about two brides which are accidentally swapped. Set in rural India of 2001, the film ingeniously uses the premise of two brides accidentally swapping places during a train journey to unravel deeper narratives about women's identity, autonomy, and resistance within patriarchal structures. What appears on the surface as a comedic tale of mistaken identities transforms into a nuanced exploration of how women navigate, resist, and sometimes subvert societal constraints. The film is particularly significant for gender studies and for us all as it challenges traditional narratives about missing or lost women, explores female agency within seemingly restrictive social structures, examines the institution of marriage as both a site of oppression and potential transformation, and reveals the complex networks of female solidarity that exist in rural India. And without much ado, I would like to invite the chair of today's program and our director, Professor Bulbul Dutt James, for her welcome remarks and for the introduction of the speaker. Thank you, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you, Atfar, and thank you very much for joining at this and changing the mode in which we are. So it's practically hybrid. Some of us are in the center, and a very crucial. I think Atfar has practically concluded, the entire theme. But it's a very crucial film, and released on 1st March 2024. It was something which was built on a lot of comedy that came into the picture, with a lot of array of other kind of elements which make it very, very ironic as well. So somewhere along the line we have a notion of a lot of themes, sub-themes which pick up within it, and ironically so, in terms of just the fact of women being exchanged and the funniness of it. But more than that, the motive of the ghungat, which is being used in some amazing ways, the veil as a restrictive and limiting garment, yet there are other elements to it which I'm sure Saba is going to put forth. The role of it's a very rural, rustic kind of element. The role of the police and the local justice system, which we assume till the end how it's going to take a turn, and it's something which has there are a lot of positives to it. Also, the positive depiction of single women, because single women is an issue which doesn't get, even when we talk about capacity building. And I remember Amity Desai, the ex-chairperson of the UGC, who was single herself, diminutive figure but amazingly dynamic, would say that you need to consider there are issues there for single women which really don't get considered, because we're always looking at in that sense of patriarchy about looking at in-laws and stuff like that. And another issue which it brings out really, really well is sisterhood, and this whole struggle for sisterhood and the togetherness despite what would have seemed like adversaries in the picture. So we're really, really happy and honored to have on board Dr Saba Bashir, and she's a poet, a writer, and a translator. Her first book was a collection of poems, Memory Past, in the Writers' Workshop in 2006. Her PhD is from IIT Delhi on the Poetry of Gulzar by HarperCollins. As I Swallowed the Moon, is that right? The Poetry of Gulzar in 2013. She's done a lot of translations on Gulzar. I think he seems to be a hot favorite. Screenplay of Premchand's Godaan and Nirmala and Other Stories, which is taken out by Roli Books. And her recent books are Aandhi, Insights into the Film, which was another, I guess, feminist portrayal, and that seems predominant in what she's been working on. Women of Prey is the other one. And forthcoming, she's working on a biography, which with the difference is going to be on other lines here as well. So Saba is teaching in the Department of English and Jamia, and I don't want to, get into all the details of the rest of her credentials. It's going to speak for herself because she's our resource person for today. So welcome aboard, Saba, and all yours.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's indeed a pleasure, and thank you, Dr. Bashir, also, for asking me to come here. But, as I was thinking about the film, the moment when he asked if I'd like to speak on Lapataa Ladies, I was a little hesitant because this is a film that nearly everyone's watched, and there's already so much written about it and talked about it, and ever since the Oscar nomination. As it is, it was difficult because everyone knows everything about it. Even with my experience on working on cinema for all these years, my PhD, as Professor Bulbul Tarjib said, is on the Poetry of Gulzar. So I realized that even then when I was doing my seminars or even my PhD viva, cinema is something which everyone thinks that everyone knows everything, so everyone jumps in on the bandwagon, and here there is a film where it's really written a lot. And to make matters worse, the session turned from an offline one into an online one where I can't even gauge the reactions of the students or the participants. So, all possible hardships have been thrown at me. But
I wanted to mention this. Thank you for joining online because we...
Okay.
I don't know if it's ma'am's connection which is weak or mine.
There is some problem with the ma'am's connection.
Yeah. So I was just wondering if it's hers or mine, because that is another, so every passing minute it's adding to the chaos. So anyways, if some of the students are comfortable, it'll be nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, ma'am. I think there is some issue with the network at your place. Yeah.
Sorry, apologies. I'm connecting on the net on my hotspotting. So each time there's a call, it disconnects the laptop. So apologies. Yeah,
that's okay, ma'am. And especially we've all survived the COVID, so we know how this works. So
now we have to survive an apocalypse the way things are with the AQI. Yeah.
So it'll be nice if a couple of students who are comfortable with it and they can open their cameras a little bit. At least I'll get some hint of some expression somewhere. But if not, it's perfectly all right, as long as you guys are comfortable. Okay, so I've made a little PPT also to try a little bit to break the monotony of my little discussion on the film, a film that everyone already knows everything about. And whatever was remained has been covered by Dr. Bashir and Professor Bulbul Tarjib. So I really don't know what will I be adding on to the conversation. Also, the PPT is so that, in the sense that I remember what I have to say. Dr. Bashir, I'm not allowed to share my PPT. Can you give me that?
Hello. Yes, ma'am. Wait a moment.
Yeah.
Just a moment. Okay. Done.
Yeah, it's there. Yeah.
Okay.
I think progressively they'll put it on, so that's okay. Yeah. We have Professor Nadeem here, Dr. Aparna, Dr. Atfar. I know Amreen has joined because she's here in the center as well. And maybe we can, I'll just put it in the chat, Atfar, that please put your cameras on and maybe you can take a few screenshots. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Don't worry, just going in the flow.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, so I'll continue from here. See, the first thing is I'd like to talk a little bit about how do we look at films. Here we have students who are from the Center of Women's Studies. So you're looking at everything from a perspective about theories based on gender, on issues that related with women. But before we touch any film, I want to talk a little bit about the background. How do we actually look at films? There are a couple of theories. For example, I'd like to give you the example of the author's theory. Author's theory is where we treat the filmmaker as an author. A film is also a piece of literature. We treat it as a piece of literature, and we look at it in a fashion that we look at a text. So how do we actually read a film? So when I say the author's theory, we look at a filmmaker and we look at the number of films that a filmmaker has made and what are the pointers of commonality in all those films. For example, if I give you the example of, say, Sanjay Leela Bhansali, the first thing that comes to your mind when you look at a Bhansali film is the grandeur, the opulence and everything. And that goes on in all the films. If I give you I'll have to pull out examples from the recent filmmakers, say Imtiaz Ali. So I don't know if the students are there, maybe they can put it in the chat box. When I say Imtiaz Ali, which are the films that he's made? And I'm talking about him as a filmmaker, as a director, and not as a producer. So, he's got Rockstar, it's got Jab We Met, he's got Highway. What are the points of commonality in all those films? Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Zoiba. So the commonality is definitely travel. It's an exploration. It's about discovering the self. And you look at all the characters, be it Keith from Jab We Met or the protagonist in Rockstar. So they are trying to look into themselves. It's an exploration, a search for an identity. And there is a physical travel as well, and the metaphorical of the travel within. So, I mean, for whatever filmmaker, I mean, if you look at the old filmmakers like Godaan or Bimal Roy Saab, there will be a